Are you frustrated because a friend or family member is always late? This video can help. Stay tuned and learn a 6-card spread that will help explain why this person is late, as well as help you come up with solutions. Hi everybody, I'm Sue Ellen Clayton. Welcome to my channel where we're learning how to read tarot one card at a time. In today's video, we'll be using a 6-card spread to answer the question, why is my husband always late? I will be using the Radiant Rider-Waite Tarot, and there is a link below. This question was posed by Vivian, a woman in her mid-40s who has been living with her husband Cody for more than 20 years. The couple has 11-year-old twins. Vivian works part-time from home as an administrative assistant and is very active in the kids' school life and other activities. Cody is a software developer and works in an office about 30 minutes from their home. Although his hours are supposed to be 9 to 5, Cody rarely leaves for work on time and often doesn't leave the office until 6:30 or later. Frequently, he is not home until 8 p.m. when the kids are almost ready for bed, and several times a month it is later than that. Vivian finds this extremely frustrating as she relies on his help with the kids and finds it tough to plan when she has no idea whether Cody will be home. I found this reading extremely difficult because I have had similar issues with my husband throughout our marriage, although I'm a couple of decades farther into it than Vivian, and my kids are grown. Nevertheless, it was hard for me to tell whether I was actually reading the cards correctly or just projecting my own feelings onto the interpretation. It ended up being a really good learning experience, and I think it's one that we all face when we read for people who we can strongly relate to. I did my best, and I'll share what I learned about myself at the end of the video. Something else I want to mention is that this reading involves Cody and Vivian, yet there is only one person in each card that I chose. So how do I know which person the card represented? To choose, I used a pendulum. This might be something that is new to you, and I've made a separate quick video to explain what it is and how to use it. If you're interested, the link is in the description. Otherwise, I will tell you who each card represents. To explore why Cody was constantly late, I used this 6-card spread. Card number 1 looks at how Cody's chronic lateness impacts Vivian's view of their relationship. Card number 2 examines the underlying reasons for Cody's lateness. Card number 3 looks at how effectively Cody and Vivian are communicating about his lateness. Card number 4 provides advice on how Vivian can better understand Cody's behavior. Card number 5 recommends actions that the couple can take to improve the situation. And finally, we have card number 6. This card indicates the potential outcome of the situation based on the actions the couple takes. So let's get started with the reading. Card number 1 looks at how Cody's chronic lateness impacts Vivian's view of the relationship. And I drew the reverse magician card. In this upright position, the magician represents someone who has the power to make things happen. He is proactive and highly focused. He knows how to set priorities in order to meet his goals. He directs the energy of spirit down into the earth and can make ideas become reality. On his table, we see the 4 elements, and he knows how to utilize these resources efficiently so that he can reach his goals. In the reverse position, we have someone who is disorganized and lacks the overall skills needed to complete projects of any kind. This includes poor time management skills as well as a lack of skill using tools. As you can see, the cup, pentacle, sword, and wand that are resting on the table will fall off. I'd extrapolate this to mean that Cody's time management skills, such as making lists or setting alarms, are not effective. Rather than taking responsibility and making things happen, the reverse magician does not take responsibility for his time management skills and has no interest in finding a solution. My first challenge was to figure out if the magician card represented Vivian or Cody. As I mentioned earlier in the video, I decided to consult my pendulum, and I ultimately decided that the reversed magician represented Vivian. I feel like she has been trying to make something happen, which is Cody coming home on time, that is impossible. She's not a magician. So this is impacting their marriage because Vivian is trying to make the impossible happen. I shared my thoughts with Vivian, and she agreed that Cody is extremely disorganized in ways that go beyond time management, especially the garage and basement workspaces, which are a complete mess. She has taken over all of the family finances to make sure that bills are paid on time, and things like car inspections happen by the required dates. She has proposed many solutions over the years, including the two that I mentioned, writing lists and setting alarms. Both work for a week or two, and then her husband loses interest. Card number 2 examines the underlying reasons for Cody's lateness, and I drew the 4 of Pentacles. Next, I had to decide if this card represented Cody or Vivian. Once again, I used my pendulum and decided that it represented Cody. Pentacles can represent money and also how we earn money. Since much of Cody's lateness revolves around him coming home late from work, in this card we see a man who is focused on his job over everything else. Cody takes his responsibilities very seriously and is a good provider. However, he is perpetually worried about hanging on to his job. The 4 of Pentacles can also signify inflexibility, as we can see that there would be an easier way for Cody to hold his money, such as putting it in a safe instead of stashing it under his feet. This makes me think that Cody often does things the hard way. Perhaps he's always done it that way and fears change. This is also borne out by the fact that he refuses to use time management tools that would make his life easier. I also got the sense that Cody does not want to be bossed around by Vivian. He wants to do things his way, whether or not it makes sense. He doesn't have an issue with how he manages his time and sees no reason to change. He wants to continue with the status quo because it's working for him. Cody is also sitting on a stage with his back to the city behind him. In tarot, stages create a separation, and work provides Cody with a respite from his busy family. It is easier for him to be at work because nobody bugs him to do things that he doesn't want to do, unlike when he's at home and he has to deal with the demands of his wife and children. Vivian agrees with all of these points. She knows that her husband's company has experienced some major setbacks over the last few years and that his job may not last. She also believes that, although he loves her and the kids, he appreciates the environment at work where he basically interacts with just a computer. She also feels that he does things in a more complex fashion than he needs to, but prefers the status quo to embracing change. Card number 3 looks at how effectively Cody and Vivian are communicating about his lateness, and I drew the Page of Cups reversed. Once again, I had to decide whether this card represented Cody or Vivian, and I concluded after using my pendulum that it represented Vivian. The Page of Cups is an interesting card in terms of communication. In the upright position, we see that Vivian is having an intense conversation with a fish. Cups and the element of water are about emotion, and she seems to be very engaged in the conversation. She is clearly open to new styles of communication, way beyond what most of us would bother with. Like her husband, Vivian is standing on a stage, so she is separate from other people. I think this means that she feels very alone. She's all dressed up and working hard to communicate. Cups and water are all about emotions. Vivian's back is to the water, which is very choppy, so I feel like she is very emotional but trying to ignore her feelings and just focus on the conversation, ridiculous as it might be. The reverse Page of Cups is about challenges communicating, and I don't think that Vivian and Cody are doing well communicating about his lateness. In the reverse position, the fish would fall out of the cup and the conversation would be over. Any water that was in the cup, which would represent emotions, would also disappear. Also, in the reverse position, Vivian would fall off the stage. Basically, she's turned herself upside down to try and get her point across to her husband, and it still doesn't work. Vivian confirmed that they have major communication issues to the point that she's given up trying to address his lateness or to get him to commit to an estimated time of arrival. She confirmed that the emotional connection that she currently feels is less loving and more angry. Card number 4 provides advice on how Vivian can better understand Cody's behavior, and I drew the Knight of Swords. In this case, I believe the card represents Cody. The Knight of Swords is a card about taking swift and direct action in the realm of thoughts and communication. Cody prefers communication to be like the Knight of Swords, clear, direct, and unemotional. He wants Vivian to get straight to the point and not spend what seems like hours talking around the issue. He wants to understand what she wants so that he can take quick and appropriate action. How is he supposed to determine when he's going to leave? There's always so much work to be done that he could stay forever. Vivian acknowledged that she tries to appear nice and could be more direct. She knows that Cody responds better to, "You must be home by 6 p.m. to take the kids to swimming lessons," than a text that says, "Don't forget to leave on time." But she is also frustrated that Cody is frequently late or completely missing, despite promising to be home. Card number 5 recommends actions that the couple can take to improve their situation. I drew the Two of Pentacles reversed. This card represents Vivian. In the upright position, the Two of Pentacles is about being able to balance responsibilities. This is something that requires both focus and flexibility. Note that this is the third stage card in the spread, so it shows that she is separate from other people, or alternatively, that she is putting on a show and not truly balancing things. Like Vivian's last card, the Page of Wands reversed, there is water behind her that represents emotion. So she's not paying attention to her emotions, which might be why she is able to multitask successfully. In the reverse position, the Two of Pentacles is about imbalance and inflexibility, which has resulted in Vivian feeling overwhelmed. So how does this mean that Vivian and Cody can improve their situation? I really had to think about this. Clearly, they have to find a way to find balance. One way is for Vivian to adopt a more forthright communication style and spell out exactly when she needs Cody to be home from work. And he needs to commit to working harder to make sure that he comes home on time when it is required. I think the other thing is for Vivian to find help elsewhere so she doesn't have to rely on Cody. She is very involved in her kids' school and could talk to some of the other parents about carpooling to take some of the pressure off her. Finally, we have card number 6. This card indicates the potential outcomes of the situation based on the actions the couple take, and I drew the Queen of Swords reversed. This card represents Cody. In the upright position, the Queen of Swords is a great model for communication. She is a very direct communicator and has strong analytical skills. She is not emotional, so would stick to the facts and not beat around the bush. She would make her requests known succinctly and directly. This is an ideal method of communication for Cody and exactly what he wants Vivian to do. Unfortunately, the Queen of Swords is in the reverse position, which means that Cody's communication style can be emotional, critical, and not particularly logical, which is precisely what he says that he doesn't want Vivian to do. This has resulted in continued communication problems and doesn't lead to the couple solving anything. So let's summarize. Card number 1 looked at the current situation and how Cody's constant lateness impacted Vivian. The Magician's reversed card represented Vivian and told me that she was trying to do something that was ultimately impossible. Cody did not consider this to be a problem and had no interest in solving it. Card number 2 looked at the root cause of Cody's habitual lateness. The Four of Pentacles card represented Cody. It confirmed that Cody takes his work and financial responsibilities serious and is perpetually worried about getting fired from his job. This card revealed that he fears change, often does things the hard way, and doesn't appreciate Vivian bossing him around. He also enjoys the relative solitude of his job and not having his wife and kids place demands on him. Card number 3 is about how effectively Vivian and Cody are communicating. In this case, the Page of Cups reversed represented Vivian. Basically, she's turned herself upside down to try and get her point across to her husband, and it still doesn't work. At this point, Vivian feels that they are at a standstill and her emotional connection has been lost. Card number 4 provides guidance on how Vivian can better understand Cody's chronic lateness. The Knight of Swords represents Cody, and he believes that Vivian's requests would be better received if they were unemotional and straight to the point. Card number 5 describes actions that the couple can take to improve the situation. In this case, the Two of Pentacles reversed represents Vivian. At this point, Vivian is frustrated and completely overwhelmed. The ideal solution would be for both Vivian and Cody to commit to making some changes. Vivian could adopt a more forthright communication style, and Cody could commit to working harder to make sure he comes home on time. Another option is for Vivian to talk to some of the other parents about carpooling to take some of the pressure off her. Card number 6 indicates the potential outcome of the situation. The Queen of Swords reversed card represents Cody. This card revealed that Cody's communication style can be emotional, critical, and not particularly logical. This results in continued communication problems and doesn't lead the couple coming to any resolution about him coming home late. I was really disappointed that I hadn't seen a way to get Cody to commit to coming home earlier from work. I decided to tell Vivian that I had dealt with similar issues and hadn't fared much better than she has. I suggested that another tarot reader might be better because I might have been interpreting the cards in a more biased way, given my history. Vivian appreciated my honesty. She admitted that she and Cody had been to counseling 3 times and, even with professional help, were unable to find a solution to Cody's lateness or several other issues. However, just because we didn't reach a solution doesn't mean that the reading wasn't helpful. As I do more and more readings, I'm realizing the value in laying out a situation in a logical way so that the client can get a 30-minute overview without a lot of emotion. Often the results are not a surprise. It gave Vivian some clarity in terms of how her husband wanted to be communicated with, but her major takeaway was that she needed to contact other parents and see if she could find a solution that didn't rely on her husband remembering when he needed to be home. She was also unaware how much he was worried about losing his job, and that helped her to have some compassion for him. I hope that this video gave you some ideas that you can apply to your tarot practice. Please leave a comment if you'd like to share what you have learned. And if you're not already a subscriber, I'd love to have you subscribe to this channel so that you don't miss anything. I'll see you next time.